This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Howdy doody. It's Wednesday and it's Watto. And certainly from now until Christmas, the Watto's Wednesday is going to be the day after the night before. And the night before to this Wednesday was Birmingham City 2, Bolton Wanderers 0. Now, the predicted tough game that we were going to go through and blah, 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 didn't materialise. Bolton, by their own fans' admission, were poor. They did have a couple of chances late doors, which goalkeeper Ryan Allsop managed to keep out. I mean, that's what he's paid for. And they went home with their tails between their legs, and their manager, like all the managers we play, came up with the usual claptrap, to be honest, pointing out, we had moments where we dominated. Yeah, it was a moment or two, yeah. Again, we still dominated the game, 75% of the ball, more goals, more shots, more corners, fewer fouls, whatever. The statistics, they say they're lies, damn lies, statistics, but when it comes to football facts, they don't tell the whole story, but they tell a good part of it. Now, I'm actually thinking to myself, how long have I got to put up this pretense of thinking that this all could fall apart and we could be licking our tails. We got to go to Mansfield this week. Mansfield are having their greatest season ever in the Football League. They've been down to the conference, they've come back, and when we were winning League Cups and playing in Europe, they were playing at Woking and Hartlepool and places like that. Now, good luck to them. I got nothing against Mansfield. They're a decent outfit, and I will be really, really surprised if we don't come away with a comfortable victory. I watched them; they beat Wigan last night. No, that's on their own muck heap, and you think to yourself, well, that ain't a bad performance. But I've watched the highlights of the game, and the two goals are very fortuitous. And Wigan, the thing is, when you look at the teams that have been given a spanking by us, they tend to fall away after that. It's their cup final, and they get spanked, and they start to low. Lincoln's manager last week was trying to tell us that his team were the better team, and it was only the fact that we scored 3 brilliant goals that was the difference. Well, that's part of the game, mate. Sorry. So what do? They go to Crawley on Tuesday night, ready to show us that their spanking on Saturday was just one of those things. Well, they're going to get beat 3-0. Now, tell me something. How do you do that? If you are the best side, well, you don't. I could understand it if they'd gone there and won. They could have argued their case, but they didn't. They're going to get beat. So basically, I'm looking for the trends. The only bad trend I can see is that last time we won 2 out of 3 uh, games in a week, we went to Charlton and lost. Now, I have to say, I was at that game, and there was an element of tiredness, perhaps. People, looking for excuses, to be honest. And Charlton got away with 1-0. Now, I'm not I'm not uh, unaware that could happen again. I mean, the reasons why it happened are still there. Now, we had all these players flying around the world to do practically nothing, and we've picked and we seem to always do it. This is something that hasn't changed in the last 12 months. Is that after an international break, we have more injuries than when we started. How how people get injured in training, I don't know. Uh, Scott Wright, Joe Stansfield got injured in an England training session and couldn't play in either of the games. Now, beggars belief. And then on the other hand, we have uh, Pak Sung Ho, who flies to Korea and then Jordan and then home for basically 6 minutes play. He came on 90 and 85 minutes in the 2 games. Now, if that doesn't annoy you, then what does? Anyway, he came out last night, and as I hoped, he was so determined. He couldn't wait to get back on a football pitch, and he was he was outstanding again. Um, the question was early in the season by some of the pundits on TV: is he the best player that's ever played in the third level? Hmm. Well, it's a good question, and I sort of put forward Tommy Lawton, uh, Rodney Marsh, Mark Ward, just off the top of my head. But I'm starting to think that this bloke could be exactly that, except, except that there's a bloke playing alongside him, Iwata, who scored a wonder goal last night, a left-handed, side-footed volley that the goalkeeper never got close to. Now, Mr. Iwata, no relation to me, wish he was, is he's on the level of certainly Mark Ward, Barry Ferguson, further back Howard Kendall, in the middle of that field, running the show. Uh, and if you put the two of them together, I would say they're equally the best players that's ever played in this division, and they're a hell of an asset to us. Now, I don't know what to think about the midfield players that we bought before, certainly before Iwata. When you look at Leonard, who came on for the injured Hansford last night and he was pretty good, And if we lost the 2 Oriental players tomorrow, we'd have him and Harris and um, uh, the guy who played right back now, Taylor Swift, as I call him, um, to come in and they'll, the loss will be felt, but it 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 won't stop us winning games because these 2 guys are chomping at the bit to play, and it showed last night. We put Laird back in instead of Taylor Swift, and he was immense. He ran his socks off. He caused trouble down that right hand side all the time, and ironically found himself on the penalty spot with a header that he got hold of, but goalkeeper made a brilliant save and pushed it wide. Now that would have been that would have been a real icing on the cake for him. But he's been out for a few weeks, and they took him off, and old Taylor Swift came back on, and wasn't quite as dangerous, but certainly was as competent. And we've still got Stanford sitting in the stand last night. Um, and when you've got that kind of depth and level of ability, there shouldn't be anything to worry us in this division. The only thing that's worrying us is that we're frightened to worry. You know, yes, I can stand here and tell us we're the greatest team since sliced bread, and next Saturday, you know, something will go wrong, a mistake, a refereeing decision, whatever, and it all come tumbling down, and everybody say, "Oh, you're a prat, you are," saying all that. Well, I don't believe in suspicion. I don't believe in fate. You know, I believe in the natural powers of life, in as much as you, whatever you do, then you reap the rewards. And if you do things wrong, you basically reap the consequences of that. So if we have a bad day, we have a bad day. But how many have we had? Two. We've only dropped points in 2 games. 2 games out of 11. We've won 9. And we've won 9, and hasn't been an argument. Nobody could say, well, you were lucky there. No, not one of them. 9 wins where we've had 3/4 of the possession, scored most goals, kept the odd clean sheet, and the goals we have been conceded are one of the reasons we conceded goals has been eliminated now. We've got a confident back four who pass the ball around quite comfortably. And again, we've lost by Bielik, and Davis has come in. I spotted a couple of errors in his game last night, but for 89 minutes of the game, he was perfect, and certainly passes the ball. Having a left-footed player on that side of the park helps that. And where else? Where else? I mean, we could. We're not failing to score goals. So, but there are people in the team, in the squad, who can score goals as well. So the loss of a key striker, for example, and we lost Stansfield last week, didn't have any effect. Well, Keshy Anderson came in, scored 2 goals, first time since he's been with Birmingham, and they were quality. Eddie May and Jay Stansfield would have been proud to have scored goals like that. Now, I'm not going to be reserved anymore. This is the best team in this division. The only thing that annoys me is that if we hadn't gone down last year, we'd have probably been top of the championship, because I watch all the highlights and live games from there, and I'm thinking, these ain't that good. You know, I watched Cardiff and Plymouth on Saturday. 2 teams in the bottom. Cardiff beat Plymouth 5-0, and they hadn't won a game at home all year. 5-0. Now, Cardiff weren't that good, but Plymouth was shocking. I watched, on the other end of the town, I watched 2 top teams, Leeds and Sheffield United, and they were much better, obviously. But I thought, well, they wouldn't get away with that against us. And if we kept the ball off them, best way of defending is not let the team opposite have the ball. So, what I'm trying to say, boys and girls, is everything in the garden is rosy. Expect another 3 points, which will take us to a level which, if we continue throughout the season, we will end up with 117 points. That's how good we are. And I find it hard. Now, we've only dropped 5 points in 10 games. Now, to get below the 100 mark, we'd have to drop another 18 points in the rest of the season. Now, are we going to do that? I don't think so. So the 100-point mark is almost a given, and it could be some sort of record-breaking figure. How many goals have we scored? We've scored 2 a game, basically. So that takes us up to 92, right? And everybody says that we ain't really firing up front at the moment. So if you can find a couple of 4s, 5s between now and the end of the year, it'll take us past the 100 goals. Now, I am living the dream at the moment. I, in 65 years of watching this team, I've never, ever had a season like this in whatever division. Even when we won the this league 30 years ago under Barry Fry, wasn't like this. You were on tenterhooks all the time because we did get beat, and we played awfully. I remember a match at York where we were abysmal, and York City beat us 2-1. Look where they are now, by the way. Okay, 2 months later they came to St Andrews and we stuck 4 or 5 of them. But it's too late then. Coming to the end of the season, we needed one win to secure promotion, and we drew at home with Brighton, who we'd beaten on their own ground earlier in the season. Then we had to play Bradford City, and we drew 0-0. We could not score. 1-0 would have given us the championship there and then. So it went down to the last game, and we all know the story at Huddersfield. And talk about it was great fun that season. It was great fun because we won some wonderful games, but the defeats were appalling. First game of the season, Orient, lost 2-1, and we were about 6th or 7th after 10 games that we're now at. So this is, every promotion from second to the top division, whichever that was called, was always been a minefield. Last gasp events where we got to beat this team to get in the playoffs, and sometimes we did, sometimes we didn't. When we did, we messed them up until the last time, and so on and so forth. This is different. This is going to be nailed on by Easter. No problem at all. Bring that cup round. We'll have it. We'll be doing the lap of honour on probably Good Friday. Okay, enough of my rubbish. If you want to like it and whatever, please do. If you like this, tell your friends. Let's get a few more watchers. And by all means, if you think I'm talking through my rear end, please tell me. I won't be offended. I just want people to react. I want people to say, yeah, Watto, you're probably right. Or you can say, Watto, you're talking through your back passage. But I love you all. God bless. Goodbye.